Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. How's everyone going? Let me know. I'm just fixing my. Okay, there you go. Let me know in the chat. How is it going? Did you submit a question? If you have a submission and you're watching live, then you can let me know, and I'm gonna prioritize it. Just let me know, or let me see who's there already. I think Nicole. I just saw your question, so that's what I'm gonna jump into right away as the first one. And I'm answering around the 1 minute mark. There you go. Okay, so Nicole's question is, would it be better to wait until after Black Friday, Cyber Monday to start running my first lead gen ad campaign? Yes. I'm going to set up the ads now that I have your feedback and copy, targeting, etc. this weekend, but wondering if the cost might be crazy during this next week or two. And second question, where should I direct on the form? Thank you screen, paid school group. I don't have a free group or a YouTube video that would be perfect for this purpose. You mentioned during the ad workshop that then it's not really good because then it becomes a sales objective, not ideal, right? I could offer my free 15 Path to Clarity brand consult. Okay, so what I was referring to in the workshop is the campaign type and optimization event we want to choose when ultimately we want to have a sale, right? And not going for a lead in the first place, right? So there's a difference between the lead generation campaign where you have your freebie on Facebook, you have the on Facebook form, and from the on Facebook form, you can redirect them into a second place, right? Like we say, ideally a second nurturing place like YouTube, like an Instagram account, like a free Facebook group, free school community. That's different from a lead funnel that is actually a tripwire funnel, right? So the whole purpose of the funnel is to actually sell something, right? So like a self-liquidating offer funnel that leads into something that has a higher customer lifetime value. So you have a front-end offer, an order bumper, one-click upsell, and you're gating that thing with an email opt-in because, for example, you want to make sure you're filtering for the ideal clients, or you want to make sure that you're able to remarket after, right? So it's two very different strategies. One is there to build your email list. The other one is there to basically grow your customer base in a way that the ads are paying for themselves. But one is much more direct response, and the other one is we're going actually after building us an email list where we can nurture and have disproportionately higher returns over time because we were able to get that lead for a lot cheaper, versus here we need to optimize for the sale right away because that's what we ultimately want to do, right? So it's two fundamentally different strategies. What you're trying to do with your first campaign is really to get that email list growth going, and so for that reason it's perfect to go with the leads campaign. And if you have nothing else at the end, it's also fine to let them know that you have a paid community. What I think is a very interesting combo that I recommended to a couple of people, and we're seeing kind of first feedback trickling in from that, but it's not at a point where I'm like, this is proven to work, so definitely do that. But I think it's worth playing with the idea of a free trial, right? So if you're having a school community and you want to use the lead form to grow your list and propose a free trial on the thank you screen of the lead form, that's something I think worth testing. Other than that, you can do a 15-minute free session, or you can also send them to a paid school community. The advantage of that is that they're in that bottom of funnel retargeting, right? So when somebody has been on your school about page, you would want to send them a different messaging, like a, hey, come back, you were so close, right? Kind of messaging, rather than a more generic retargeting campaign that is really more explaining the offer. So there's advantages, disadvantages to both. If you can, I'd test the free trial. If not, I'd feel more drawn towards the free session versus directing them to school. Yes, love it. Let's do it. That's okay. I just didn't have my first coffee before. You're so sweet. I'm actually not sick. I just didn't have my coffee yet. And I've worked late, so that's fine. Should I run my latest SLO test with the new angles after Black Friday? I would recommend that. I think, the CPMs I've seen this year on many accounts is like really, really crazy. So if you don't have the full urgency, then leave it. Yes, I actually tried to quit, or I'm thinking about quitting. Let's put it like this. But I'm not there yet. Okay, so who else is here? I think Tanzilia I saw already. Let me dive in. I leave Coffee's live up a little bit longer. Tanzilia, there you go. I also see you here. So let me capture this question right away. We are 6 minutes in. Okay, so let's pull this up. I was watching the ad creative workshop and you mentioned in there about different messaging for problem-aware customers and solution-aware customers. One is educational, the other one is differentiation. Please, can you expand on this a little? I have struggled with these concepts in the past. Are there also messaging possibilities for customers who aren't even problem-aware at all? Yeah. If you have any examples of what these messages types look like, that would be super helpful. Also, you mentioned bloat a lot in reference to ads. Please, can you explain what this means? Thank you so much. Okay, so let's start with the first one, expanding on the concepts of problem, being unaware, being problem aware, being solution aware, right? So when we're thinking about selling our offers, we have to consider where our potential customer is in the buying cycle, right? So are they already aware that they have a problem, or are they unaware? If they're problem aware, what aspects of the problem do they care most about, right? So this is where we do a lot of the pain point work and where we demonstrate how our product is able to solve those pain points. That's where typically most people are working. And then when people are solution aware, right, this is when we have to differentiate ourselves. So you would want to think about where somebody is in a customer journey, always also thinking about market sophistication. So what does that mean? So on one hand, we have our customers, right, and where they are in the buying journey. On the other hand, we have our market and how sophisticated it is. What does that mean? It means how many competing options are there that our customers that are now beyond problem aware, well, how many solutions are they aware of, right? Are there already a lot of solutions? Now, when you come with a relatively, and I want to make this super tangible by giving how I learned this, like how I learned this deep in my core, other than I know this from studying marketing. Okay, so this is how I learned this deep in my core. We have, I have together with Jessa Bellman, my beautiful business partner, a PLR membership. So in here we have now it's over, I think, 1,200, but significantly over 1,000 done for you digital products. And when we were creating this, it was before ChatGPT came out. So it was like before there was a lot of done for you resources. And it was after I struggled with this myself in the beginning, and I actually did buy a couple of PLR planners that, definitely helped me to get my business off the ground, because they added profitability in the funnels, because I was using them as order bumps, I was using them as limited time bonus. They had been a real game changer for me, right? On the other side, I was like really frustrated because there was only so few quality ones that I could find, and most PLR was dated and ugly and get rich quickie, like nasty, right? And so we saw that our members are struggling with that as well, right? How can I quick enough create enough tangible, high value perceived templates, journals, workbooks, planners, so we can, create the lead magnets, the limited time bonuses, the self-liquidating offers a lot faster. So because Jessa was or she still is such a design genius, and I love to produce content, like I don't know why, but I love doing that, and I have a huge output. We were like, that would be so helpful if we create this for members together. And then, we can also see if it sells beyond. So we had the idea, we put the first version together where we had 30 products. We presented it on a live stream to members, and our members absolutely loved it. So we knew we were at that point in the customer journey, right? We were at that point in the customer journey where people were not even necessarily at that stage of problem awareness, right? So there was a nuance, and I was only able to articulate the problem because I've gone through the process And I knew I needed to immediately add more tangibles in my funnel and to my offers, right? When I need a deadline, and I need to have more lead magnets to grow fast. I was recognizing that as my constraint, and I was able to articulate the problem with it, because I went through that whole process of searching, not being able to find a really good solution, etc. So I was like, I know this is a thing. Like, I know this will help people, right? So we were able to capture the majority of our customers in a space of complete problem unawareness. But because I have been through that problem myself, I was able to really well articulate what the problem is and what the pain points are. So through the first kind of education into our product, which was a live stream, we were able to capture a lot of people and getting them to problem awareness stage, knowing our solution buying, right? And so that messaging that was used there, we then also pulled on our ads, and we were able to run the ads profitable directly to the membership really, really quickly, even beyond our members, also because we didn't have a lot of competitors, right? So there was not a lot of people who had done this, and thought about it and conceptualized it like that. And the ones that did, they were not running ads because that was not in their skill set. Their skill set was product creation, and our skill was product creation and ads, right? So we really hit the ground running. Well, then ChatGPT came out, master resale rights came out, and so the market sophistication started to change, right? Because there were more competitors that were, banging the drums about this problem, more people became from unaware stage to problem aware stage, right? So now we had a lot of problem aware people, but that were also more solution aware. So now us hammering the same kind of done for you products, you don't have to do all the work yourself, etc., it becomes dull. People know this, right? So now it's about how are our products different from our competitors. So to revive and extend our product life cycle, first we had to get really clear about how do we want to differentiate ourselves. And we, on our first birthday, we knew we have to really go into quality, and we have to go away from the beige, still nice but more blunt designs, and we have to show people more of what's possible with the product. And we also kind of have to decide a little bit more, where do we want to lean in, because we were a little bit torn between Etsy sellers and coaches, course creators. So we actually decided to branch out into subcategories, mini memberships that speak to different avatars within that big bucket of people, right? And that was successful to extend. I think the biggest success from the mini memberships was the coach tool vault, because that was tailored to a very specific avatar, versus the other ones were kind of going into winning digital product categories. Also attractive, but from the numbers we could see that the scalability from the ads was not necessarily there, just because it didn't really unlock a new avatar for us. And the other thing that we did, so we were like getting clear, okay, how do we need to shape this to really set ourselves apart? How can we make it more specific to different avatars? And then how can we communicate that we did that? And that was when we were talking about how we're going about creating our product, right? That we're using real sales data to come up with the ideas. So we're going after the products that are trending on Etsy right now, that we're using our big audiences of coaches and course creators to come up with the idea for the coaching programs, that we have, Jessa has been an Etsy seller now for 8 years, has made over 150,000 sales on the platform. I have worked with tens of thousands, right? So I had over 30,000 paying subscribers in my customers, in my memberships up until this point. So we're starting to talk about what is our approach, what is the experience that goes in, how do we go about creating those products? And that started to revive the ads again, right? And we were also showing different products to kind of illustrate the quality, right? So this is how you would want to think about it. You would want to think about when you don't have a lot of competition yet, right? The first thing you need to do is you need to be really well able to articulate what is the problem and agitate the pain. That's your first job, right? Then once you see, it will work, when it works, you get competition. And as soon as you get competition, you need to double and triple down on what makes you unique and communicate that. That's basically the concept. So now that is speaking to problem aware, solution aware. Now, when you're prompting this out, right? I provided a couple of prompts in the workshop as well to talk about this. And so I just want to use them again now with a different example, with this different example than from the workshop. And when you already have a sales page, you can use the sales page. If you don't already have the sales page, you just use your ad copy. So, okay, what are all the different problems that this is solving? For Etsy sellers, coaches, and course creators. I also think they're currently making changes to Bloat. I think that the answer quality is getting a little bit constrained. Okay, so now it's just understanding what are all the problems. And now, okay. And now you can go either into the single problems that you want to focus on, or you want to say, how can I talk to all the awareness stages? Give me 10 distinct hooks for each of the 3 awareness stages. Okay, so it also already goes into problem aware. I want to unaware, problem aware, solution aware. Short, simple to understand hooks. Okay. How this coach created 100 digital products in 30 days without burning out. That's actually like how this Etsy seller created 100 listings in the last 30 days without burning out. It's a good one. So I would take some of those concepts, but I would make sure that they're not implied income claims. There's a few ideas, right? So why making your products from scratch is just slowing you down too much. Unfair advantage. So we were talking in the beginning a lot about unfair advantage, secret weapon, right? So this is how you go about these. Then you say, okay, which ones are true for my product? And then you shape them out from here. That's how you get to them. So you would just want to say unaware if you want to prompt it like this. Also, I mentioned bloat in the ad, so I also want to say this. So how would I add now why and how would I add bloat? So once I find my winner, or once we found our winning ad for secret weapon, we're starting to scale it, right? And then eventually we were starting to see that the performance would drop. Well, now when I see that I can't scale beyond a certain point, I need to find new angles into the product to be able to keep scaling, right? Because with every new angle, I'm speaking to a slightly different ideal client avatar, opens me up to another bucket of low-hanging fruit customers that are in market for this, that are receptive for this message and say, yes, I need this right now. So when we're thinking about adding the bloat, what we're actually doing is on top of the ad that we're running, we're saying, okay, which ones do we test, right? So testing is adding the bloat. It means we're adding more ads and we're removing the ones that look promising into a scaling campaign where we spend more budget. And so that adds bloat. When we're testing, the more aggressive we test, the more bloat we add to our account, right? So it is a short-term loss in ROAS, because we now need to test and not every test will be a winner. That's what I mean when I say we add the bloat, right? So we're increasing the amount of ads that we have and we're going down short-term in profitability because not all of those will convert profitably. But then we're cutting back the losers and we're able to scale the winners. So we now have a next level in the amount of customers we can acquire from our ads. Okay, let me just see if there was any questions left or if I answered all of them. I forgot to submit 2 questions. Whoops, I submitted my ad angles. 2, but no rush. Okay. Follow-up question. about problem where on audience, what is the ad stats that helped you learn when audience had moved to different awareness stages or something else? Yeah, excellent question. You see it in the CTR all, right? And you see it in the CTR link click-through rate, and you see it in the conversion rates on the sales page as well, right? So you see a significant drop, and you especially see your winners dropping off. And it is even when you're testing new audiences, where you have, low first-time impression rate, right? You're going into new audiences, you see that there's it's a different level of excitement, right? When you have the first time, and you'll see that in your ad account when it happens, when you have the first time a winner, where you're in that completely untapped ocean. I had this a few times. I had it with my 50K roadmap. I had it with my coaching planner. I had it with what else was there? I had it with my workbook before everybody was selling workbook templates, and then I was too loud about it. So with all of those ads, the same thing occurred. It was that the cost per purchase would start to climb up, 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 and the CTRs would go down, down, down. And it is typically when you've just reached a certain point of saturation from your product. And it is also that on your feed, you start to see competing ads, right? So you start to see real competitors. That's when you know kind of you have moved in the stage. Yes, we have that. There is a process to work out how to differentiate yourself from others. I have this 50K roadmap that is in all our communities. In Growth Evelyn, it's here. And the exercise to differentiate yourself, so you can make a copy for yourself from this, is here. Competing offer research, where you research different offers and you understand what's the big promise, how is the problem agitated, what pain points are highlighted, how is the solution presented, what benefits are highlighted, what objections are addressed, what deliverables are included, how does the offer stack look like, what's the price, how do they create urgency, how do they create scarcity, right? So it's a lot. And if you think about this process from a toe in the sand perspective, it is you really spending time with the market, right? Making sure you're saving every ad on that comes on your, like, I look for ads. I do this when I'm in the washroom before I go to bed, like multiple times a day. I open up Instagram, Facebook, I scroll till I see new ads. I save them, right? First off, because I'm learning from every new ad, but then also I see what's out there. And when I see somebody who does something similar to me, I go and I open up their sales page and I'm scanning and I'm like, what do I agree with that they might have articulated well? What do I disagree with, right? So I have a very strong opinion, or I'm making an effort to be educated about what's out there on the market, and I'm making an effort to have a very strong opinion, a very strong position, as in how I relate with competing products. That's just a part of, when you have a business, you would want to be on the lookout for that. So it's really understanding, putting the time into research, and then sitting down and writing down, well, how do I relate to this, right? Where do I stand in relation to this other offer? That will help you to be able to understand what makes you unique, and when you understand it, you can communicate it. Is there a process you would follow for closing a free school community? So I closed a low-priced school community, and I sent out a post with the email function, and then I just archived the group. You can decide if you want to remove people as well, so that they don't have access to anything that's included anymore, or if you just want to leave it open. So that's basically just the process. Probably school also has a good article on this, and there's probably more steps. Closer community. School has an article about this. I just would use the post function. I would send a kind, heartfelt message, maybe even a goodbye gift. Okay, there's just a few posts. Yeah. Okay. There's it doesn't seem to be a more sophisticated answer. I made a video and I made an update for people about refunds. Um, yeah, and then basically archived the group. How to write tangible outcomes so people immediately understand the transformation without falling into trap of non-tangible. Live your best life, heal from your past, find your authentic self. It's all in the specificity. So, for example, when I write copy, I write from a place of experience, so I can go into a lot of detail. And if you think about it, I recently talked more about Stephen King and like storytelling in that regard. When you also read those books, what makes it creep under your skin and feel it in every bone is the detail that make it so real, right? So when you're talking about living your, and that also I think comes back to being more a reporter than being a salesman, right? So where you would want to say, hey, you know, if you're feeling anything like this, that, and you want this, that, then I have something for you because this has been my journey, right? So when I look, for example, at the pain points I agitated for Coach Growth Hub, or the pain points I agitated for coaching membership method, or any offer that I had, it was literally, this was my pain, like this was my struggle, this was what I had been going through. And so I was like, for Coach Growth Hub, it was, for example, you desperately not want to DM strangers to sell your coaching services, right? So I was like, when I came into this industry and I wanted to pivot from providing a service, the done for you Facebook ads, to selling my coaching, and everybody was like, okay, so you need to reach out to 100, you need to send 100 friend requests a day, and you need to send 100 people a message. I was like, I'm dying. I don't want to do like that. No, it just, not because I was scared of the work, but it just didn't feel right. It felt, especially, maybe, today I also know more, and I know, how people go ethically about it, but the context that I had back then was, you pretend that you're interested in the person, so eventually you do like a bait and switch and sell them coaching. I was like, hell no, right? So it was a big pain point for me that I didn't see other solutions, and then eventually I had to come up with something that worked for me, right? So you would want to go in and see in your story, like, what was that moment really? Why was it not good enough for you to consume resources about inner child healing from others? Why did you have to go out of your way and do something different, right? Or what did you synthesize that others just didn't bring together for you, right? Where was the moments that happened that made you understand, like, I just can't keep going like this? Maybe it was like the moment where you yelled at your child again, right? So really think of what did happen, what were the actual pain points, and describe them in specificity. And then for the headline of the pain point, you want to say, if any of this sounds familiar, right? Or sounds like you. So you don't have like a really hard, this needs to be exactly your case, right? But it can be this goes in the right direction. So it's all in the specificity and in putting in words what you actually went through and how it felt. Awesome, thank you. I'd done a lot of research previously, so that made filling it in a bit easier. I then trained Junior, which is a database I use for AI conversions around it. Great. Looking at ads from others, I actually do a lot of courses that exist in my space. I pay for them, I take them, I try to understand how it would be received as a client. That really helps me. I understand that approach too. I personally try to stay away from purchasing too many other courses before I felt like I have really my signature method, because I think it's, we all our ideas come from synthesizing what we learn, and we learn from others. And I always want to make sure when I do that I give enough credit. But when you consume things, like, eventually I had this happen, like, also probably also to myself, but also to some of my students, where I was like, that sounds familiar, love. But I was like, okay, I'm not I have no issues like that, but I always try to kind of stay as much in my lane as I can with certain things. But that's probably just a personal preference, and others will tell you that you should buy as much knowledge as you can from others. Yeah, that's beautiful. If you see like where they are not connecting the dots. And I think there's many people that build like a little sub ecosystem around the things that I do as well, because I have strengths in how I can teach and where I can help people, and I have gaps, right? So there's a lot of people that are now that have or are still customers, right, and that are in my orbit and do similar things, but they're closing a lot of the gaps that I can't cover. And so I think that's from that context, it's really fine. And there's no perfect teacher, right? There will always be somebody leaving certain gaps open. Even, for example, the Alex Ramosi, right? He's big idol of mine. He's super, super brilliant. And sometimes when I listen to the Q&As, I'm like, oh yeah, that went right over the head of 90% right now, right? So because he's so sophisticated, he's so experienced that for him, certain things like this is nothing, this is nothing, this is nothing. But people get really stuck on those things, right? It's the same with me now, doing a workshop where I help people set up their ad account, because sometimes it's like that button isn't where I expected it to be, and people are like, I'm out. I'm out, right? So they go out because there's a small thing that's different that's holding them back. But it's just because when you're in the beginning of the journey, you need more smaller steps and the reassurance that you're on the right way. So now I'm going to go in and do that with every person so that I can make sure, okay, people are moved through that. And I think so when you're in the beginning, obviously you're flawed because you have set experience and you just need to get better. But also when you get better, you get flawed because you start to lose touch with how difficult was it when you needed that step by step by step, and it was freaking you out when something was like slightly different. So there will always be when somebody just starts to grow and they hit it hard, and when they keep growing and they hit it hard, they will always create gaps as they move, and there's always an opportunity to create something that complements it and closes the gaps. He's so good at Adidas. Yes, I think that's something to really, really learn from him about copy. Is there a strategy you would follow for a closing launch for my membership? And do you have any resources on this? I don't have a strategy for closing a membership. I think I would just be very transparent, as in what is my motivation with this and where am I going? And I would extend an invitation to reach out if they want to keep going with you, or even make an offer, as in, here's what's happening next. I don't have any templates or other than that. I just would record like an honest video, sharing where you're coming from, sharing where you would like to go, what your vision is, inviting the ones that align with the vision to keep being on the path with you, and letting them know what that can look like if they're interested. Yeah, I remember the day it happened, exactly. And then remember that day, like remember what you were wearing, how was the weather, like try to remember the day, where were you, what happened, and sometimes you sprinkle in those details, right? It just makes it so much more tangible. Okay, Cornelia, I got you on it. Entering around the 34-minute mark. Where's Cornelia? Oh, sorry, Tenzili, I see you have a second question. I'm getting to that very soon. First, Cornelia at 34-minute mark. Okay, thank you for the feedback on the sales pitch. I will implement it shortly, and then I would like to run one last activity this year to attract new members to the painting membership. This summer, I gained a new member for a live workshop at a summit, so I think a Scrappy workshop is worth a try. Scrappy workshop is always great, also because it really gives you the opportunity to validate or cancel ideas quickly and eventually get a self-liquidating offer from it. So I love that. I would repeat the summer workshop on how to mix vibrant colors from just the base colors without getting mud, and offer it as a Black Friday deal. I love it. That actually, color mixing could be a great front-end offer. Since I want to upsell my membership, should I go for $6.99? Yeah, I like it. Rather than $4.99. It really doesn't make such a big difference on this one. My offer would be the same offer I had when I last launched, $197 instead of $297 plus $77 worth of bonus courses. I will send this to my list, but I would also try to run ads for it if I manage to set them up. Is there a tutorial or guide on how to set up ads for Super Script Workshop? Yes. We do have the workshop ads in here as well. The thing is just with the workshop ads, they're selling worse when we're advertising a live workshop versus when we're advertising something where the replay is immediately available. So just so that you are aware of that. And then we have a step-by-step workshop. And this should also have the ads in here. Let me just see. Yeah, so here we have the detail. Create okay, so we have the workshop sales page, add the copy design the page, optimize it, add the bumps, one-click upsell offer, install the tracking. Workshop announcement copy, this is your ad copy. Okay, so the ad copy will be the workshop announcement in here, but I think I pulled that out as well. And then the workshop ad visual we have here. And then from the setup for the workshop, it is quote unquote just a sales campaign. So when you come in here, school and sales campaign setup, you use a sales campaign optimizing for purchase. That's how you would want to go about the ads for the workshop. And you need to make sure in here to go through so you have all the tracking set up and the purchase event so we can optimize for the purchase conversion. Okay, so it's a sales campaign optimizing for purchase. You need to make sure that you have the tracking. Your workshop announcement copy is the ad copy, the creative you can create from the workshop ad creatives. And then for your audience, let me just double check. I want to give you one already. Okay, so let's build your audience. So we can go with, because you have the page in English from what I remember the last time, so we can go with the top 4 countries. Age I would leave open. Now I do love to add for almost all online educational offers these days, coaching and self-help, because I realized that it's an audience that is that likes buying this stuff. So self-help, I like to add both the psychology and the book. Okay, so that's kind of the base I like to start with, especially when we have shorter time. When we have longer time frames, I like to keep it more broader. But because we have a workshop, we have a little bit shorter time. So this is kind of the base, right? So it must be people that are interested in coaching, self-help, right? So they're kind of they're learning with those kind of materials. And then we want to define further painting, visual art. We can even define it further because this is still a very broad audience. Oil painting probably, or I think you're doing acrylic, right? Maybe art supply. Um, I'd love to have a cross interest layered. I know you don't do watercolor painting, but I'm just trying to find more interests like that. Sketch, drawing, illustration, fine art, abstract art, art exhibition, I think is a good one for you. And I think abstract art is also good for you. So let's see. Gives you a pretty good size to start with. And I'd test this with Advantage Plus targeting. So Facebook can go out of it. If you say, no, I actually only want to work with women, then you need to switch back to original audience settings. And you need to make sure to specify the gender. Still really good enough of an audience. And I think this, gives you a pretty solid hypothesis on the avatar, if you want to take a screenshot of that. Okay, let me just double check. I caught all of the questions here. Okay, I used the Super Scrappy workshop. You talk about announcing it. In the Super Scrappy workshop, you talk about announcing it 7 days before the workshop. In Heart of Growth, there's something similar, but with a 2-week runway for the workshop. What would you advise? So when you're running ads, you would want to run them for 10 to maximum 14 days for a workshop, and for your email list to hold that excitement about above 10 to 14 days can be really, really long. So I like to have it shorter on the email list, about 7 days, sometimes even shorter, so there's a little bit of a sense of urgency. On the ads, to really out optimize them, it's great if we have 10 days. You can stretch it all the way to 14 days, if that makes sense. Okay, Johannes. I don't know if you already seen my Loom reply on my message, but I want to. But what do you think of the idea of starting a challenge for my target group on 1st January and providing support in the free community? I like it. I did not see your reply. Let me just make sure I got it, because I'm relatively up to date. So I just want to make sure that we had a little bit of a overlap with the form switch. So I just want to make sure I have your submission. No, I didn't. I don't see your submission in here. Let me just see. I don't have the submission. If you could please make sure it's in here. I'm going to make sure I'm getting back today or tomorrow, early tomorrow. So this one here, please submit your feedback here. All other forms should be closed, but this is the only one that we would want to use, okay? If you could shoot it through here, I'm making sure that I prioritize it. Okay. I think it's good. I think, for a lot of people, the 1st of January is a little bit of a slacker day. So you can either strongly position yourself against that and already right now lead with the strong argument why no days should be left unused in the new year. Then I would very deliberately lean into this message, or I would give people a couple days to get back on track. And then upselling to paid community after a period of time in the free community. Yeah, I think that is good and it works. I would set maybe a timeline for myself as well. for when I want to start turning the community paid. So maybe you say, okay, and then 1st of February, you're going to make the community paid. There's two ways to go about it, right? So you can either turn the existing community paid, which is great because you already have the social proof around it, and existing members can, for example, stay. What you could do there is to have an annual price for, or I'm not sure if you can do a paid annual on a free price. Let me just double check that. So when I have a free price, can I add an annual? I cannot add an annual to the free price because that would have been cool if I have a free price, but then I can add annual to pay. Make the annual paid. So you need to decide, do you want to transform the existing group and just make it paid and the initial people are in there for free? Or do you want to close the free group and start over with a paid group, right? So in one case, the challenge group will become your paid group. And in the other case, your challenge group is the launch pad into your paid group. I think that's just something I would try to have clarity around it. Perfect. Checking. I run a publishing company for trauma survivors, helping them find healing via writing their story. It's high ticket, 6K, live for 2 years, trying to work out a low ticket membership now. Any ideas? Um, mm, I mean, the it could be similar to what you're doing there with them, but it's more self-study and more kind of self-paced versus the higher ticket just has more access to you. I see it, in my own experience as well. The more you also give at lower price level, the more people you can help at scale, but then also the more you become a scarce commodity that people that are really a good fit for the high ticket would want to work with. So I would probably map out what is the overall transformation that I offer, what is a really meaningful milestone where somebody has made significant progress and they can feel that. I'd scope that to be the transformation of my membership. Then I would say, okay, what's the before? What's the after? Break it down into 3 milestones, break down every milestone into 3 steps. Then you have 9 lessons, your core content, core transformation framework. And then from there, you can add tangibles to each lesson. And then you can say, okay, and what are the weekly group community activities that I want to do? So that's probably the brainstorming thing that I would do first. If you're in the community, you can use, you can use the 11 templates membership with the transformation, with the North Star decision, transformation, and bridge to gain clarity around that, and basically map out a minimum viable version of the community that you want to create. Okay, next we have Iris. And I'm answering around the 49-minute mark. Okay, let me find you. There you are. I'm currently running an ad to my Zimtsterne online course for $7 with the upsell to my Christmas cookie course for $97 instead of $197. I've had 13 sales so far, but only one person bought the Christmas course for full price. I only found out today that in the checkout, the full price was listed instead of the discounted price. So I've just sent those new students an apology email with the link to the discounted checkout and gave them 48 hours to get it. I still wonder if I should continue the ad. The CTRs are good and the ad spend so far is 189 and I've made about 190. I spent 15 a day and the ads manager tells me it's learning limited. It's been running for 14 days. Is it wise to let it run this week with the Black Friday ads? I would let it run because you had the mistake in the funnel, right? And it could have been that you would have sold just one more course if that mistake wasn't there. So I would definitely still let it run. If you should see over the next 3 days that it's really getting ridiculously expensive, then you can turn it off. But I would now definitely give myself the chance to have the right eyeballs. Plus, those 13 people, they could potentially also become a good fit for the membership later on. So, and you've trained your ad account. For me, this is a net positive on this campaign. I would not turn it off. Okay, Sabi, you're doing the ads training in Costa Pacific. I love that. I'm creating a low ticket 30-day course. Can I do some Facebook ads directly for the product without a free lead magnet? Thank you. Yeah, you can. You can test it, and it's actually a good idea to maybe do that before you even create the course. So when you go for the ads workshop, the first thing would be that I would get really, really clear on the angles for the course. I would have a first version of the sales page up, right? And then you can see, okay, which angles are people responding to, and then you can shape the messaging on the sales page according to that, and then you can shape the product according to that. So it's absolutely possible to run ads directly to a low ticket product. It is just how good this product is positioned. And you can find it out through testing it with the ad. So you don't always need to have a lead magnet. Thank you. Thank you, and I'm sorry. I'm not sure where it got lost in the translation, but I'm making sure to prioritize it. Okay, thank you. All right, I have another pre-submitted one from Rebecca. And I'm answering around the 52-minute mark. Thank you for the fantastic workshop. I haven't finished digesting it yet. My current situation is I started running lead gen ads for my practice trap freebie in countries in Asia, Korea, and Japan and Europe that have a lot of piano interest. My desired situation is to lower the cost per lead is lower cost per lead than in the US, 70 cents per lead, which is pretty good. It's actually pretty good. Here's my data. I did the best to follow your directions, make the loom correct. My problem is I'm not sure how to implement GDPR compliance for the European countries only, as opposed to for all new leads on my email list. Also, the cost per lead has now settled down, but maybe even with a lower cost per lead, it's not worth advertising in Europe because of the effort to set up compliance system, also because of reduction of subscribers when using double opt-in. My question is, what would you recommend for me? I think you still have so much potential, beyond the European market. And if you're reaching customers in Europe, definitely you will have to get fully compliant, get privacy, data privacy, etc., adjusted. So I'm not sure if it's worth expanding just to get a lower cost per lead now. And in general, right? So adding the complexity to do that, I'm not sure if that's worth it. I think it's potentially diluting focus. Okay, but let's get the ad numbers analyzed. Okay, so we have a really good CTR. The US one actually gives you a higher CTR, so it's more scroll stopping. This gives you, US also gives you higher CTR link click-through rate. Europe gives you similar cost per click, but just because it's a mix from Asia and Europe, you have much lower CPM, which is why your overall cost per lead is lower. And let me just see how they compare to each other and if it really makes such a big difference. I mean, the other cost per lead is in a very similar range, so I'm not sure if it's really necessary for us to change it. The biggest lever if you want to get your cost per lead down is to have a little bit of a broader freebie. But then again, I think your freebie with the practice trap is such a good filter, and it really brings you the right type of. Here you can see, okay, so the conversion ranking is above average, quality ranking, engagement, and ranking are just average. So this is our ad to audience fit. This will very likely get better over time. as Facebook gets to know our customer a lot better. And then the engagement ranking is our visual. So we still have potential on the visual. Although it is scroll stopping, it could be more engaging. It's good that it's still learning. That means very likely the cost can still improve. Okay, so for example, here we see I just said to you about the add to audience fit, and I was like, it's not ideal, but very likely it will still improve. So here we have a little hiccup in the setup. Do you see this? Let me go slow. Here we have the music instruments, the piano interest, and then we have Skillshare Udemy. The way this is set up right now, it shows your ads to people that are interested in piano or Skillshare or Udemy. We have not layered to an avatar. We have added interests, right? And so your ad right now also gets shown to people that are potentially not interested in piano because of the way that we have set it up. If you want to ensure that people are interested in piano, but then they're also interested in learning, you would want to have all the piano interests, and then you say narrow audience, and then you have all the learning interests. And what I would do is I would go, I'm not sure if Skillshare Udemy is necessarily adding a lot for you. I would probably go more broader with coaching and then also the self-help interests that we have right now. Because right now it's either or, right? So this is why we don't have above average, or could be why we don't have above average ad relevance, because we're also showing the ad to people that might not be interested in piano at all. So we'd want to be mindful about that. That's something we can fix, and then we can also think about testing new visuals. And for example, with the piano playing, there could be a video of you playing the piano, like very virtuously, like where people are like, holy cow, this is how I want to be able to play. And then above we have stuck in the practice trap. So there's many different visuals that we can play. First one would be fix the audience. Second one would be let's try to have new visuals. My opinion is I would stay I wouldn't expand beyond the top 4 countries for now. Asia could make sense. Is worth testing. Europe GDPR, if you want to advertise in Europe, I of course fully support it as well, but you have to get compliant, right? And you will lose quite a few people through the double opt-in. That's also okay. I think you might want to research if it is really required still, because I saw something interested in MailerLite. But this is really where I'm not able to give advice because that's in the legal sphere. And you would want to check with those providers and with legal professional for your specific situation. So that was very interesting. I just read that the other day and I was like, could this be true? So while double opt-in is not required by GDPR, we always recommend double opt-ins for the forms. So I found this curious because the only thing I ever heard was that it's required. But I would reach out to MailerLite and I would potentially also consult with a legal professional, get the privacy policy up if you want to do Europe. Sorry about that. I'm going right away. Okay. Tanzilia had a second question, and I'm answering it around the 59-minute mark. To summarize for Rebecca, we need to fix the targeting. I'd make a decision about Europe. I think it's really your decision. I gave you my opinion. And then we would want to test different visuals as well. I'd deprioritize this over getting up the Practice Buddy ad because that's going to get directly to a subscription. And then once that is testing and running, we can test new ads for the freebie. Okay, Tanzilia. 1 hour mark. Okay, unlock your kids' cooperation workshop and resource bundle. Discover the aligned path to true cooperation from your children without having to yell, threaten, or bribe. I like it. Muslim mothers shouting at your kids and then feeling guilty about it isn't helping you or them. Learn what actually works to get them to listen in just 6 steps. Cool. I think you got it, and I can tell you're speaking from experience, feeling constantly torn between discipline and compassion. This is a really great one, I think, as well. I like you understood the assignment because you've done distinct angles to talk about the problem. Lost your cool again, you're not a bad parent, but there's a better way. This is cool. I think the word alliterations are great. This, for example, is talking to people that are not necessarily problem aware. Right? So when you think about like sorting them, because you said you struggle with this, sorting them from unaware to problem aware to solution aware. Lost your cool again, right? You're not a bad parent, but there is a better way. Okay, so now I'm not. Now you kind of get me towards the problem, and this is defiance, right? Sorted with trauma instead of rage. So you are offering me the opportunity. This is really great for the unaware person. Feeling constantly torn between discipline and compassion. I'd also put this up here because this is also they probably have not put it in words like that, right? So it's like the discipline and the compassion. This would be I'm already problem aware, right? They're not cooperating. I'm already problem aware. I'm shouting at them. This could get a little bit of resistance. Does it have to be so hard? This is a little bit similar to the helplessness. Stop letting your kid's tantrum turn into helpless wreck. Right? And parenting. This I just feel like you probably wouldn't talk like that. So I'm not sure about this one. Your child's daily defiance bringing you to the brink of explosion. Okay, so just want to make sure to play with those angles a little bit more. Maybe we can find more of them. Okay, this is my other product. Now also for this one for all stages. The surprising reason why Muslim children actually listen to some parents more than others. I think the surprising way to get your Muslim children to listen would be right up there for the unaware stage, and I like it. this would be also, I think, not the exact words, but from kind of how you can approach it. I like it. Let me actually see if I can zoom in, so this is a little bit easier for you. Why Muslim parents never have to raise their voice to get respect. I also like this. And please keep in mind, I just don't know enough. I hope I'm not interpreting anything wrong. I like this, why it feels harder today, and a simple solution. Really good one for unaware. What they get wrong about discipline and why it matters. I also like that. This one I think is very much in alignment with what you already had once as a hook. I think this is strong. And then solution aware. Dean aligned discipline also I think is a very memorable. Get cooperation without compromising your values. This one I think is really strong. My Muslim moms love this framework. I think this is also great. Skip months of trial and error. So I think there's maybe quite a few angles in there that you might want to explore or test and refine before first refine, then explore and test. But I think there's some that you might have not considered yet. I'm going to share them under your post and you let me know what you think. I was today years old when I learned you could transfer Canvas slides into Canva Doc. Yeah, it's super helpful. That's also why I actually like to do it in Google Docs before, so I can work around with it in ChatGPT. So many good ideas in that cloud list. Thank you so much. So helpful to have it broken down into the stages to show you this. I think it, and now when you're looking at this, here comes the bonus tip. You're gonna take all of the angles that resonate with you, okay? And you're gonna put the angles that resonate with you in a sheet like this, okay? So let's say I just took a random one, but let's say you really like why some Muslim parents never have to raise their voice to have respect. Then why it feels harder today, right? Everything that kind of resonates with you, where you feel like I have something to say about that, you take that into a Google Doc. Topic, Loom, okay, nurture, email, post, quote. Okay, so now when you say, okay, these angles really resonate with me, like there's something comes up with me, I have an opinion about that. You're gonna sit down and record your Loom ramble. You're gonna take the transcript, the 10-minute nurture prompt, and you're gonna write your nurture email from there, right? And then you're gonna take your nurture email and turn it into a social media post with a picture of you and your children. And then you're gonna use the post and pull quotes from it for your other social media. And the cool thing is when you do it like that, your conversations feel very aligned with your offers. And the nurture, the stages from when we send an email, when we nurture to actually our product being relevant and in demand, it becomes much more narrow, right? Because you're having the conversation from the angles that you were creating from your offers. That's the bonus level to this. Okay, good. Let's go. And you'll see, like, you find so much when you're now talking through the angles, you're finding so much messaging gold in there as well. And then you can also use those as a foundation for the ad copies that you tailor to the winners, right? So right now we're only going off with one ad copy, but as soon as we're finding the winning angles based on our visual test, we will tailor the copy and the above the fold section on our sales page to that angle. All right, so let me close a few things. I have now too many tabs open. And let's get into another pre-submitted question. Okay, Shayana, I'm answering. Shaina. I'm answering around the 1 hour, 11 minute mark. My question is related to your recent video showing how to test 10 different visuals with the same copy before selecting, refining the winners. But what do you do when there's only a short time to run ads, such as a 5-day flash sale? Thank you. Excellent question. When I just have a 5-day flash sale, I just go with one copy. I go with my best guess copy and my best guess winning visuals. So the key is the following. A flash sale is something that adds kind of a cherry on top. It's your gravy. You cannot rely on flash sale opportunity as an opportunity to find your winning messaging, right? So we're going through all of the steps in the heart of growth and in growth Evelyn for the list building, etc., because we want to be prepared when those opportunities arise, right? So when Black Friday comes around, when you have a relaunch, when a program of yours retire, you already need to know exactly what messaging hits, right? So when you're having a flash sale, you already better know exactly what you need to say. And this is why we want to go through all of the steps before that. And if you're like, oh, I'm not at this stage, right? But Black Friday is coming around, I want to do something with that. Could it be a waste of your time? Maybe, right? So when I'm thinking about setting priorities, I always try to first set up things that give me lever and that serve me kind of long term before I'm doing things that kind of add a short term benefit. And there's many opportunities to capture short term benefit along the way, but from a priority perspective, I do the things first that give me more lift in the long term. So if I was now in that position where I'm like, and I'm not saying that this is you, right? But I'm saying that there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm just getting started, but I definitely want to do something for Black Friday. Well, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should just work on the work you need to do, build a really solid foundation, because it always comes back to the foundations. And then next year, you're prepared because you built the audience, because you nurtured, because you know the messaging, because you have product to market fit. And now, what you could have done this year, it becomes insignificant from what you can do next year. But if we're always kind of focusing on the things that we think will bring momentum in the short term, we will never get to that long-term big lever, if that makes sense. So I just do my best hypothesis. If I only have a short time frame, I do my best hypothesis. But I'm usually never in that position where it doesn't work out because my best hypothesis is so sophisticated because of the work I've done before. Excellent question, though. Thank you so much. Nikki has another question with a lead-gen ad for December. Okay, Paul is also here. Paul, I catch yours next after Nikki's. And then I think I saw Marta. Okay, so Nikki answering at 1 hour and 14 minutes. I want to set up a lead gen ads for December. Could you please review my ad copy and visual? Thank you. Absolutely. Want to truly enjoy this year's holiday season for a change. As a busy mom, I can relate more than you think. I want to help you, so I created a free journal for you. I accidentally turned out to be super valuable with 90 pages, going deep into your personal values around holidays, the best memories you want to cherish and create more of, evaluating your current experience with complete honesty, and figuring out ways to set boundaries and protect them and your energy too. Get my holiday planner journal now. Okay. My holiday. I would love to qualify it beyond the word my. I would say the ultimate holiday joy journal. Journal and planner. Okay. I would like to have more contrast, so I'll probably do some snow. And this could be brighter. And this could be bigger and a little bit coming into this. 90 pages to help you dive deep and create. Dive deep and plan so that you can actually enjoy this and all future holiday seasons. Deep dive so that you can actually properly plan and actually enjoy holiday season. I would It's free, that's beautiful. Maybe we can have this like in a... I'm just trying to get like enough contrast in. Okay, so this a little bit brighter, and then we're done with this. Because the contrast makes such a huge difference on the CTRs. Just want to have it a little bit brighter without losing the snow texture. Okay, so that would be... Can you see how this is adding more contrast and would help us to, and makes this also easier to read? So that's what I would do here on the visual. Now the thing is, if I was in your shoes, I'd probably also call out my ideal client a little bit more. So I would probably also add for journal and just because ultimately with your freebie, we always want to create a filter as well. So I'd love to also have the audience call out. So now I'm happy with it. Now, want to truly enjoy this year's holiday season for a change. I can relate more than you. That's why I created I would just have it normally like free. I would say that's why I created this ultimate free holiday joy journal and planner. I would actually say I wanted to help, so I created this ultimate member. And I would say for my members, right? So plant the seed, you're a membership owner. And then I'd say it accidentally turned out super valuable with 90 pages, going deep into your personal values around the holidays, the best memories you want to cherish and create more of, evaluating your current experience, and honesty, with complete honesty, and figuring out ways to set boundaries and protect them in your energy too. So it accidentally turned out super valuable with 90 pages, period. So I decided to spread the love and give it away for free. Now, split out the thoughts to make it easier to digest. Go deep into your personal values around the holidays. Understand what memories you want to make, want to create. Evaluate your current experience with complete honesty. Plan for a joyful season, including boundaries and energy management. Get my free holiday planner journal now. That's probably how I would do it. All right. Thank you. I just had a thought. Do you have a process of coming up with names for offer? Thinking whether to change my name from workshop and resource bundle to something more attractive, desirable. There's a lot of intuition that goes into it right now. I just it arises from how I want to position it. Basically, I need to think a little bit more about it. But let me see if we can. Let me see if we can find this again. So for example, for this, I would say the ultimate, I'm not sure if I would say probably the complete cooperation kit, for example. So I would call it probably like a kit because it offers this tailored solution. I would call it complete cooperation kit for you. Training plus implementation bundle as the tagline. What is the minimum price of a low ticket product makes it worth selling with Facebook ads so that eventually you make a profit when you deduct the cost of advertising? So the goal of selling a low ticket product is always just to break even, and you would want to spend as much as you can to break even. Typically, the customer lifetime value arises because you're selling either a recurring offer at the end, or you have somebody who books a one-to-one session for you and becomes a one-to-one client, or you have somebody who books a session with you and they enroll into your program, right? So the customer lifetime value is what ultimately makes running ads so interesting for coaches and course creators. Now, there's three numbers you need to familiarize yourself with: customer acquisition cost, average order value, customer lifetime value. If you really understand what this is about, you will be able to eventually run profitable ads. So the customer acquisition cost is something we can influence to a certain extent. Our biggest levers are our offer, our ad visual, our copy. So with that, we can get customer acquisition costs down, but we will never be able to get it down past a certain point. And as we scale our ads, as we're trying to spend more, our customer acquisition cost also goes up. So we need to outbalance that, on the other hand, with getting average order value. So this is the amount of sales made in your funnel divided by the number of unique customers, so you know how much somebody is spending in one sitting in your funnel. And I always aim for my customer acquisition cost equals my average order value, right? While I want to have my customer acquisition cost as low as possible and this is for a sales campaign directly to a mini offer. So while I always try to make this lower, ultimately I can outbalance by trying to make this number higher by adding not one but two high converting order bumps, right? So we're looking between 30 to 40% on the first one, between 17 to 30 on the second bump. So those additional offers in the checkout where it's like, with those boxes, do you want to take this too? And then of course the one-click upsell page. So what are we offering after? And the opportunities that we have is a membership, it is a paid call, it is a mid-ticket course, it is a free call that leads into one-to-one coaching, a group coaching, or some other sort of high ticket offer. So this is kind of what you would want to think through. You will never be able to price the offer so that you make a profit long term, right? So there's sometimes we have unicorn SLOs, and I had this myself also like a couple of times where I was actually making money on the front end. That is always just for a limited amount of time, and you cannot rely on that. A mini offer funnel in itself is an audience building tool. It offsets your growth cost. If you treat it like something that should make you cash, you'll not be very happy with it for a long time, right? So it's just a different strategic thinking in that you would want to think about a higher customer lifetime offer value. And that can be a low ticket, but then it needs to be a recurring low ticket. How did it happen? Oh, thank you so much. Okay, Paul, your turn. Thank you for the patience. I'm answering around where's my StreamYard now? 1 hour, 30-minute mark. Okay. I got a follow-up question from a question last week concerning ads. Thanks again for your response. That was such a good question. Thank you so much. My current situation is that my leads ads are ready with 10 different visuals, some photos, some videos, and the same text and headlines. At this moment, it would be difficult to do a $50 per day test before for me for more than 3 days or so. My desired situation is that I want to get a good idea of which ads to focus on after an initial test campaign. My problem is sales are down, so it's presently tight. My question is, should I do a 72-hour test for 50 a day for 10 visuals, or should I go back to 5 visuals, 25 a day for 6 days? I would do fewer visuals, your best hypothesis for 6 days. If you want to share like the folder where you have them, we can also look at it together and I can try to help you select those. Any other advice would be welcome. Yeah, I would love if we can do that. So the account is not new. That's good. Also, could you explain what a tailored ASC campaign to scale is and how to do it? Sorry if it's already in a classroom somewhere. Could you please add a link? Absolutely. So let me just maybe show you this quickly from the workshop slides, because there I also set it up. Oh my goodness, they're so big. Let me just add them from here. Okay, so I hope you're able to see them now. They're still loading. Okay. So the ASD campaign is basically when you click on create a campaign. Here, we click on create. Okay. And then you select your campaign objective. In your case, it would be leads. Continue. And then you select tailored campaign. Continue. All you now do is select the country, right? Nothing else. And then you upload your ad visuals. That's ASC campaign. So it's basically, it's very similar to performance maybe not very similar, but it's basically giving Facebook the biggest control over how it's spending your money on the account. And it's what we like to use for scaling in addition with the, or sometimes after we tested a CBO campaign. That's how the setup is. All right, so if you would like to, if you want to share like a link to your ads, maybe in a drive or something, I can also review them. Now I have another question. Yeah, it sounds more fancy than it is. You got it. You probably already did it without knowing it. Let me just make sure I'm linking this to the classroom. But I wanted to show you where to find it because it's a big training. That's in here. Now we have Marta, and I'm answering around the 1 hour 34-minute mark. My current situation, my list is now 300 and very still, and I want to turn up the ads and with the tripwire have less spending on ads. I didn't do the workshop. I only had 2 new and 2 old customers, so I decided to not run it live. I needed to convince myself because of being a people pleaser. This was hard. In this time, however, I turned the stuff into 8 videos and packaged it nicely. So I have a tripwire and it's now a toolbox. I need some advice on the next steps. My workshop and launching in December, I will have more tuning in. I can use the box, refine and have live contact with the one. What do you think? And I would add it as a tripwire to everything I do email. And all the emails right in the footer after I have built conversion blueprint funnels. My question, what do you think? What can I do to make my list happy and willing to engage more? And is this the right strategy? So they come to the workshop and learn more about my offer. Thank you. So I would, keep reporting, dare to send emails daily, really try to connect with them in the emails. That's what the best thing you can do for your list and to make them happy is to take them on a journey with you. This looks gorgeous. Like a beautiful tripwire too. Wow, you've done such a good job on this. And this is also delivered with videos, right? Yeah, super good. The next step would be to create a sales page for it. And then we can even try to run ads directly to it or turn it into a tripwire funnel, right? So we can test both ads directly to this and ads to the freebie where we have this as a tripwire. Next step is creating those two funnels. First step is writing the copy. Next step is then to set up the funnels from there. And while you do that, keep sending emails to your list, right? Keep practicing the 10-minute nurture. Those are the two best things you can do right now. Building out those two funnels, which really is one funnel, but then you just duplicate it and one has the freebie opt-in before them and the other one doesn't. That's the best one. That's the best step with what you can do right now, plus sending the nurture emails daily. Okay, then we have another pre-submitted one. Okay. This is around the 1 hour 37-minute mark. My current situation is I've been using ads for a few years to generate leads for webinar signups. I'm running ads for recipients from Poland. Up until now, I've set up ads for custom conversion, which is seeing a thank you page for sign up. My problem is I've noticed for some time that Facebook has stopped counting conversions. Signups are counted in MailerLite, but not visible in Facebook. For example, the ads manager, I see information about 2 new leads, but in MailerLite, I have 50 signups. The pixel is connected correctly. I use WordPress. Do you have any idea why this might be? I've reset the plugin. I recreated the ad campaign. I've run out of ideas as why Facebook doesn't see these records. I have connected the conversion API by providing a token within the same plugin as the pixel. Maybe there's another way to connect this API. I can't find any material in the lesson on how to hook up conversion API and making sure it works. Can you suggest something? Thank you very much for your help. Okay, thank you so much. It could be that the custom conversion is blocked, and you would want to investigate this in your events manager. I just had this situation with a lovely mastermind student. I'm not sure if I will be able to replicate this in my events manager. Let me just see if I can. But that was the issue in her case, was that the custom conversion was blocked and she needed to adjust it. And that was with the custom conversion from Calendly. So I'm just trying to find this. Okay. I can't fully replicate it in my account. But basically, when you are in the events manager, here under add event, this one, add rules to an existing event, or website and app events. No, we didn't have it in here. For us, it was in here in the custom conversion that her conversion was blocked. That was the problem. And first, we needed to set up her traffic permissions as well. So when we were in here, we needed to add both to the allow list. And then in here, we could see that we were adding the custom conversion. And then it was blocked. That was there was the main thing. So when you can come in here, if you can see if it's blocked in here, that could be a reason. If not, it might be worth to look if we can set up the standard conversion event, because I'm not sure if you really need to optimize for a custom conversion there. Why not optimize for the complete registration for the standard conversion events? How can I add with you? I have a link, but how do I give you access? You could DM me on school for this, and I would look out for your DM so it's not available in the classroom. So Monica, this could be something for you to bring to one of our events that we're now having for the setup. But actually before that, if you could take this and record a loom of exactly what you're seeing and submit it for video feedback, that would be even better. So you can come in here, request personalized guidance, and submit a loom with exactly what the problem is and what you see, and what you also see when you go through the steps that I just showed you. If you could do that, that would be perfect. Okay, so let me see if I got this. Okay, I don't have a submission from you yet, Paul. So let me see if I'll have another pre-submitted question. Okay, I think I got through all the pre-submitted questions. Oh no, there's a couple more up here. From Valerie, and I'm answering around the 1 hour 44-minute mark. Okay, my current situation is I have developed a course teaching people with osteoarthritis how to improve their symptoms with lifestyle management strategies. I want to run lead ads to a website from where they can get my freebie. On the thank you page is my offer for my $47 course with a $10 off that expires in 72 hours. This is all set up and ready to go. I have sold 18 of these courses so far from my Facebook group funnel, either through posts or where people give their email for the same freebie when they join the group. That triggers the email sequence. So I believe this is a proven offer. I love Evelyn's suggestion of printing out a freebie and taking a picture of me holding it out. So I'm going to run with that as my creative. I have a short copy that I like, which is direct and to the point. I do have an email list of 478 in the US collected through various osteoarthritis-related lead magnets since 2022. My desired situation is I want to reach new people with my OA through ads to gain leads, but mainly to sell the course. My problem is Facebook does not allow health conditions to be used as an interest yet. It does seem that a day or two after researching, an ad started popping up on my feed. My question is, what's the best way to target people who can benefit from my course? Okay, beautiful question. Now, while you can't target those interests specifically, you can just select age range. And so we would want to have the demographics, right? Here. So what we can do is we can head to Perplexity. When do people have it? What gender? Etc. Is a common degenerate joint condition. It affects millions of people worldwide. 73% of people are older than 55 years. Okay, so we can say we're starting to target at 55. The typical is late 40s to 50s. Okay, we can start at 50 actually, but since it's over 75, let's actually start with 55. Gender difference, women have it more often, but it's still like balanced. So I would just go with the age. I would just go with targeting basically from that age upward, and the rest I would let Facebook's AI targeting take care of. Because it will see, you looked for it, right? And then you saw the ad, so it knows when you are in market for this based on your browser searches, etc. So I would just go with the age and then leave the rest to Facebook targeting. Okay, Heidi had a question and I'm answering it around the 1 hour 47-minute mark. I'm looking to ramp up my ad spend for my twice yearly summit. They perform wonderful, but I want to increase registrations. I'm curious what your ad strategy would be for this, and if it would differ from your normal list building strategy since it's a short period for an event. I would definitely use the same lead generation campaigns, and then just have the rest for the email. So we've used this for summits before. I think it works really well. I plan to run them for 4 weeks. I don't think I want to use instant forms because it's important. They are redirected to the all access pass sales page from their successful registration. Okay, so in this case, you would then want to set up a sales campaign actually optimizing for purchase. If your ultimate goal is that they're purchasing the all access pass, you need a sales campaign optimizing for purchase. I'm watching your ad creative advantage training, and it sounds like you actually can make objective sales for this. Yes, you would want to do that. I want more registrations, but they also have to upsell into the all access pass on the next page. So then you would want to come for the sales campaign. You select sales and your optimization event is the purchase. You just need to make sure that your pixel tracking is set up correctly. So after they opted in, you would want to track a lead and then, you would want to track a complete registration. And then after they upgraded to the all access pass, you would want to track a purchase. And then we can see, if your cost per lead should be too expensive from the sales campaign, we can also run a campaign that optimizes for complete registration. And we can see how the sales perform on that versus the sales campaign. All right, so now I think I got everything. Let me see if, okay, so yeah, okay, Paul. I think what we should be doing is maybe you could submit a quick video for it under the form, and then I can help you to select the right ones. Or not the right ones, but the ones that I would do. And I'm going to have a look out for it today or tomorrow morning, depending on when I see it. All right, so this is it. I answered all the pre-submitted questions. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I catch you in the group. Bye, guys.